Jason here with Retirement Insurance Specialist. Don't grow old, get Medicare fit. So, what we're talking today is the Part D changes. So, there are things happening in the Part D world, the prescription drugs, but there are changes every year. So, first off, this isn't as dramatic as a lot of people are making this out to be. Yes, there are changes, it just helps to be informed. So, we're going to go over some of the changes and how it could affect you. First off, Part D is not going away, it's not disappearing. We're still going to have prescription drug plans. Well, what had happened is in the Inflation Reduction Act, there was a subsidy that was set to expire for the end of this year, and that is happening. So it's nothing new. It was actually scheduled to happen, and it's not as big of a deal. It just means there's going to be some changes. So we're going to talk about some of the changes. So this happens every couple of years. There's some things that change. Sometimes it's for the better, sometimes it's for the worse. Like 2 years ago, we had what was called the donut hole, and that's where prescription drugs changed throughout the year. In the middle of the year, prices rose. It was very confusing for people. Part of this, the Inflation Reduction Act, got rid of that. So that was a good thing. It made it less confusing for people. So some of the things that we're going to talk about here are the big changes and how it could potentially affect you. So first off here, what's happening is since the Part D subsidies have expired, those costs were set to keep premiums down. So that is definitely the first thing that could happen with this, is that the premiums in red right here could be rising on some of the plans. So that could affect your bottom line, especially when you're on a fixed income. So that's something to keep in mind with your medications on what plans are the best fit for you. Another thing that could definitely happen is the pharmaceutical companies and these drug companies could decide to just cover less drugs, which means you may need to figure out how to shop your drugs, how to figure out the best plan for you instead of just rolling your plan over year. There's also the chance of shrinking pharmacy networks. So basically, this company, let's company X, maybe they only use CVS and Walmart as a preferred, which is where you can get a discount, whereas someone else may use Fry's and Safeway or Walgreens. So that could be something you need to take a look at. And could that be a big deal? Possibly. But for a lot of people, it just means turning left out of your neighborhood instead of turning right, going to a different pharmacy, moving your meds over. A little bit of an inconvenience, but really not the end of the world. The other thing that this is definitely going to be something that is going to affect some people is there's a very good chance that they're just going to offer fewer plans out there. So a couple years ago, we would have 30 plus plans to choose from. And that actually was almost overwhelming and confusing. And over the last couple years, it has shrunk down to 20, 15. It keeps kind of shrinking to set, on who's in the market. So there's a chance that that could shrink even more this year and have fewer options. There's a good thing to that, and the good thing is, well, it's less stuff to get confused. You only have so many options to pick from. The bad thing is you don't have as many options if you don't like what your choices are. So it's a yin and a yang and a give and a take to that one right there. Next is they're going to cut some overhead costs. And that actually affects me in my world, Medicare broker. We're here to help you and help you navigate everything Medicare. One of the things that they started cutting last year was cutting us brokers out of the equation, which means they don't pay us. The nice thing about being a Medicare broker is that the customer doesn't pay us. We get paid from the insurance companies. But what happened last year is the prescription drug companies stopped working with us, which makes it very hard to help navigate with our clients because we can kind of just advise. We can't sign you up. We can't, act on your behalf, call the companies if there's an error. We can really just guide. So it really holds our hand a little bit and limits what we can do. So what we've done at Retirement Insurance Specialist is instead of just saying, hey, tough luck, you're on your own, which some brokers are doing, we're doing a lot of education. So we're helping people navigate the world of their prescription drugs so they can kind of understand and take control over that part of their medical plan. Yes, we will still help and guide on some things. And when you do first sign up, they're called T65s. When you are turning 65, we can definitely work on setting you up the first time. But it's when those changes happen that can get confusing. And that's something that the client is going to have to do for themselves. So what we're going to do is we're going to put out a lot of education on how to help people and guide them and really train them just like anything else It's like everybody opened up a book and did research on Encyclopedia Britannica, and then the internet happened, and everybody freaked out about it. And now the internet's just part of our life. It's actually in the palm of our palm of our hand now on our phones. Now we have AI. AI is kind of scary for some people, but it's actually being used quite readily and behind the scenes a lot more than you think. So this is just another thing that is going to be a little bit of an uncomfortable switch and a change, but it's going to be doable. And again, a retirement insurance specialist here, we are your fiduciary. We are the one that's going to help you navigate everything. So we're in your corner all year round for those questions that do pop up. So to kind of recap, don't freak out about these subsidies. It just could be some possible changes with some possible raising in premiums, fewer drugs, shrinking pharmacy, maybe offer a few less plans, and then of course cutting costs whenever they can. Those poor pharmaceutical companies, they're not doing very well. So those are some just basics that you have to look forward to. And of course, all the changes do come out during annual enrollment period. So nothing really is official on the changes until basically October 1st is when everything is published and we can all then disclose what are all the changes because they're new and everybody finds out at the same time. So again, if you have any questions, please call us. My number's on the screen. We'd love to help you out navigate that world, or I could send you a video on how to sign up your prescription drug plans because education is power. So remember, don't grow old, get Medicare fit.